Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shramati. Today I don't have a makeup tutorial. Today I don't have a cooking video. Today I just thought I would get on here and share my thoughts on the current issue going on in our community. This is definitely a tough video for me to make. But I think it is necessary because I've had so many side conversations with so many people over the last few days, getting so many perspectives, and I think we need to talk about it. So let's talk about it. If you want to hear my thoughts on the issues surrounding the brutal killing of George Floyd and so many others from our Black community, keep on watching. I have a whole bunch of notes here that when I have too many thoughts going on, it's usually best for me to write them down, just for some clarity. And I figured if I just turned the camera on and started recording without a plan, I would be rambling on and some key points that I wanted to touch on would not be addressed. So I took my time and I wrote 10 pages of notes that I will be referencing throughout this video. George Floyd was handcuffed, laying on his stomach, posed no threat to the officer or any of the other officers standing by and watching this ordeal take place. And for almost 9 minutes, he was tortured. He cried out for his mother. Now, I have to confess, I didn't watch the video. And I didn't watch the video because when I heard of this incident, without even knowing a lot about it, I was already furious. Like, I am very passionate, about certain things, and I just feel like this is wrong on so many levels. So the more information that I heard or I read about this issue or this ordeal, the more I knew I could not watch this video because, like, I already feel so helpless. And for me, watching somebody's life get taken, it's real. It's not the movies. So I could not bring myself to watch the video, but I did hear, and obviously on social media I have been seeing a little bit of this here, that there, little clips that I've kind of pieced together and kind of understand exactly what occurred. And the meat of the matter is he was brutally murdered by an officer of the law. Now, for me, this is a personal thing because I have a brother that lives in the US. My dad lived there before he passed away. I have cousins, I have friends, I know a lot of people who live in the US, and my thoughts went to, what if it were one of those people? Like, what if it was somebody I knew, a family member, a friend? And I couldn't get out of the rage that I was feeling at the time. And if I'm quite honest, I did express to some close friends and my partner that I wish some really, really awful things for that officer. And like, I make no apology for it. My heart breaks for the family and friends of George, and the countless others who have had to grieve a loved one under these circumstances. It's hard enough having to grieve a loss, but under these circumstances, it's just infuriating. Like, it just is infuriating. So my heart is aching, my mind, my prayers, my thoughts are with those families. The system is broken. The system has been broken and it needs fixing. This is an issue that has been going on for eons. And enough is really enough. There have been too many lives lost. There have been too many mothers crying, too many fathers crying, too many sisters without their brothers, too many children without their fathers. It's just really been too much. And I think we need to have a discussion about what is it that's really going on? Like, what is it that's really happening? But I want us to think about this. The broken system cannot be fixed by African Americans alone. We need everyone to participate in, trying to fix it, to be active. We need everyone. It is not a we versus you situation or issue. It is we're all in this together. This is a humanitarian issue. It is not, certain things are just not right. And it is not right that a man or woman or child or anybody really be so disrespected, so undervalued because of the color of their skin. Like, that to me is appalling. We need everyone to see us, value us, and respect us as human beings, because that's what we are. We all are human beings. We've tried to protest peacefully. We've tried to protest violently. If we think of Martin Luther King, if we think of Malcolm X, if we think of Rodney King, we've even tried to protest through music. We think of Bob Marley, we think of Buju Banton. Has it worked? Yes and no. The reason I say yes is because we've made significant strides. We literally just had an African American president. We just had a black man in the White House. Decades ago, that would never have even been a fleeting thought in a black man's mind. It was but a dream. And I say no because we're not nearly where we need to be. So to me, the real questions are, how do we advance and expedite the journey to equality? How do we strategize, execute, and more importantly, commit to this journey? As I was saying, over the past few days, I've had several conversations with people, saying they've pushed us. So really and truthfully, they can't tell us how far to take it. And I get it. I understand. We're hurt. We're angry. We want to express that enough is enough. So in theory, this actually makes perfect sense. But realistically speaking, if we really think about it, retaliating by burning buildings and looting, that's gotten us nowhere so far. And I know a lot of people are saying that, are trying to justify the looting and the burning buildings and all of that. But for me, I feel like, sure, we are in a societal contract. I was watching a little, rant from Trevor Noah, and he spoke about the societal contract. This is something that I did when I did psychology at university. There is a contract that exists between, everyone in society. We have to uphold the law. That's the only way to stop chaos. We have to uphold the law. So for me, justifying the looting and the burning buildings, you know, I can't see it. And as much as I am angry, and like I said, I've wished some really, really bad things on this officer and his counterparts, I cannot justify these types of protests. I feel we have to rise above it. And we have to understand that this is an issue that can only be fixed if we get a seat at the table. But I'm thinking, sorry, I'm talking too far ahead of what I'm trying to explain, so let me dial it back a little bit. I keep hearing people talk about, you know, those are just buildings, insurance is going to cover it, we can't get back a life. And that is true, 100%. We can't get back these lives that have been lost. But at the same time, when you destroy a building and it happens to be a Black business, or any business for that matter, insurance isn't just going to jump in and say, okay, I'll pay you tomorrow. And even if they did, because it's a process, so even if they did, that business, that family, that community has been displaced. And for some, it may take years. For some, they may never get back what has been lost. And we already don't have enough. We already don't own enough. I keep hearing, you know, it is collateral damage. But the truth is that we don't have enough to afford that collateral damage right now. We simply don't have enough. And, you know, I watched a couple videos where, you know, and I've read a couple things where Black elderly people, Black people owning businesses are pleading. It's so heartbreaking for me to watch us destroy our own and try to justify it by saying they pushed us. This is not the way. This is not the way to do it. Well, at least in my opinion, it's just not the way. I keep hearing people say, oh, it's not only Black people that are looting, it is, you know, all races. And while that may be true, I think we have to be better. We have to do better. And the violence and the looting and the destruction of businesses, if we really think about it, the narrative is changing from what the real issue is to the protests, the violence. For me, it is too distracting, right? We have an issue, let us deal with this issue because it has existed forever. So while I understand and I get it, I'm not saying I don't understand why people are angry, why people feel the need to, but when all this is over, 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, a year from now, what are the next steps? Because it is important for us to have steps beyond the protests. I keep hearing people say, oh, we need a leader, somebody to lead us. We don't need a leader. We need to seek a seat at the table, sitting with and among the decision makers, not only to make decisions regarding Black people, but to make decisions, period. So let me add to this very uncomfortable conversation, because I'm sure that many of you are having it. And if you're not, I urge you to start having these conversations with your Black friends, your white friends, your Asian friends, your Indian friends, everybody. What are we going to do to make sure that we get a seat at this nice little dinner table? That truthfully, when I look at different industries in the world, I get this sense of pride when I see a Black person occupying a top position. It's almost like, yay, like whoop-de-doo, like, yay, I applaud you, I want to hug you, I want to drink, a drink with you. I feel this sense of pride. And as I was thinking about this video and what I was gonna write and where my thoughts were going, I was like, why do I feel that way? And I feel that way because there just aren't enough of us. There aren't enough Black people in positions that matter. And again, this is not to say that white people don't matter, or we are owed anything or anything like that. I am saying that we need to recognize this issue as not a Black issue, but a humanitarian issue, because we need those people to help us to create the opportunity, because that's what we really need. We need opportunities, we need education. We already don't have enough. Education, tuition is through the roof. Many Black people cannot afford. We need opportunities created to us or created for us. We need help getting an education. So we need to turn to some of these same white corporations. We need to make sure that when these 2 weeks have passed, this month has passed, this year has passed, that this conversation is still ongoing, that we are still trying to do things to aid in our advancement towards equality. This is not an easy fix. This is not a let me stop spending at the white store, let me stop supporting the white. This is none of that. This is a how do we get up to that par conversation. And I'm just not hearing enough of it. I feel that in as much as we want to fight for equality, we're still enslaved. We're still thinking it is us versus them. And the only way to break down the system is by actively seeking ways to do so. One, as Obama said, democracy does not come without consequence. It doesn't come, it's freedom, but it's freedom for you to do what you need to do to stay up to date with what's going on. Make sure that you educate yourself on what's happening in this world. Make sure that you understand your rights, understand what you have to do. So vote when you need to. It's not only I have one vote, it's not going to count. I can't change this world on my own. It is none of that. You have the power. Each of us have the power to speak up, go out, vote, do the things that we need to do to effect change. Have these conversations. Take these opportunities when they arise, because we are in desperate need of help. We as a people, we need help. I've been told so many times before, that you're not going to get that contract because you are the wrong color and you're a woman. As a business owner, that's hurtful. That hurts to know that my genitalia and the color of my skin determines the opportunities that I get. But to be honest, I've never been one to play victim. I have never been one to wallow in my sorrows. I've always been one to work harder. Working harder for me and accomplishing and achieving things that people say I can't or think I can't makes the champagne just a little bit sweeter when it touches my mouth. So yes, it is a fight that I know that we all have to fight. I'm not going to sit here and say that I've never been the victim of racism. I'm not going to sit here and go through all the times that I've been a victim of racism. But like I just said, I refuse to let the color of my skin determine my destiny and my outcome. Now, I've been staying off of social media, going on here or there because I was just not agreeing with a lot of what I was seeing. I thought that the right image, first and foremost, of Black people was not being portrayed. I felt deeply saddened and hurt. I felt disrespected. I felt like we as a race are less than. I just felt so many different emotions over the last couple days. I've been literally pulling down my entire house and rearranging because I just needed to feel good. I needed to do something that made me feel better. I don't know if that's making any sense. I've seen some social influencers capitalize on this opportunity by talking extensively about this topic. But when asked for resources to help, it's like, you need to go educate yourself. You need to figure this out on your own. And to be honest, I don't think that that's the right approach, because there are genuine people that are trying to help. And if you think about it this way, people don't know how far to go before they're stepping on your toes. Some people genuinely don't know what they can do to help. And if you're an influencer, if you have any kind of a platform, I think if you're going to use it to speak on this topic, the least you could do is, you may not need to sit and educate the people. Oh, well, this is what happened back then, and this is what happened, a couple days ago. And you don't need to do that. But if you can share resources that people can go through for themselves and engage with you on, then do so. You're talking about the topic anyway. When you're a social influencer, you have influence. Like, you actually do have influence. And today I struggled with whether or not I should attempt to have this conversation while doing a tutorial. I was talking to one of my girlfriends and she was like, you could do your face and, talk about it. I think it's getting dark, but I struggled because I was just like, yeah, no, I can't speak on this topic and do my face. It's just too passionate of a topic for me. It is too real for me. It's just too much. It's too loaded of a topic for me to have while trying to do something as fun and as nice and, you know, boy. Anyways, guys, I am going to close this video here. I hope that, you know, this video provoked a little bit of thought. I want you guys to comment below and tell me, how do you think that we could go about striving for equality? How do you think we could get some seats at these tables? Do you think that I am being too optimistic? I know this is not a problem, or there's going to be no quick fix to this issue. But I feel like we must start having the uncomfortable conversations. We must have them with our bosses. We must have them with our colleagues. We must have them with our friends, our family. We got to start. So on that note, I promise you guys next week to give you something a little bit more upbeat. Today was a drag to get my hair done, my face done. But Black Lives Matter. And until my next video, peace and love to everybody. And I'm just really hoping for a better community, a better society, a better tomorrow.